So I've gone ahead and typed Google Docs. We're going to go ahead and click on it, free online document editor. We're going to go to Docs, and we're going to choose a blank document. The very first thing to do is go ahead and do our page setup. So I'm going to come over here to File, slide down to Page Setup, and click on it. I want my paper to be sideways, so I choose Landscape. And over here in the margins, I'm going to type 0.25 for 1/4 inch in all of them. You can either type or you can copy and paste in all of the boxes. So once you're done with that, you hit the OK button. So your paper will turn sideways and skinny margins all around. The very next step is to insert a table. We're going to come up here to Insert and slide down to Table. And we want 3 columns, so we're just going to slide over so it's 3 by 1 and click on it, and you'll see it appear. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the view so that you can see everything as it happens. The next step after that is to start inserting our text. If you're a student in my class, I've already sent you a Google Doc for the Forever Homes Pet Shelter text. You can see it here, the nonprofit Animal Welfare, Adoption, and Foster Care since 1999. I'm going to click and drag to highlight everything. I could come up here to Edit and slide down to Copy, or if you're on a Mac like me, you can use the little Command C option, or if you're on a PC, you can do Control C for copy. Either way is fine. It'll come onto your clipboard, and then you switch tabs to your new document, and you put it into the box that you want. Remember, we talked about brochure layout, so even though it's the front cover, it's the last column so that it works out when it's all folded up. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste the remaining text for my back cover, which will go into the center, and for my info for the inside flap, which is the first column. So there we go. We have all our text ready to go. The next step, when I sent you your folder of images, we need to put on our pictures. You can put your cursor up here where Forever Homes is, and you can come to Insert, Image, and Upload from the computer. And it will open up, and I've labeled everything where they go. So I'm looking for the front cover logo, and that's right here. And I can click Open, and it'll pop it in, and there you are. Another way to do it, if you happen to have it open on your desktop, let me go ahead and open it so I can demonstrate this. If you had it over here, now we're looking for the golden retriever dog that goes on the front cover dog. I can click and drag him over here, and he'll pop up. Either way works, but we're going to go ahead and put the other images in. So there we go. It's okay if it looks a little bit funny. We're going to get to go ahead and do some scaling and some tweaks to our font and to our images. You can do your formatting of your font first, or you can do your formatting of your image first, or you can do them both at the same time, sort of. It's by eye. Let's take care of the headline. Over here in our Forever Homes, I'm going to go ahead and leave it on Arial, but if you wanted to change it, you could choose any font you like. For these disposable products, don't sweat it too much. The goal is clear communication. But if you like some pretty fonts, go ahead, feel free and be creative. I'm just going to leave it simple. I'm going to make it B for bold, and I'm going to come over here to the 11 font size. I could use these plus up and down things to make it bigger or smaller, or I can click on it and just slide down. I'm going to go 30. 30 looks good to me. And then this regular text, I'd like it a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and slide down to 14 point. The other thing I'm going to do is select all of this, even the logo, maybe even the dog in a minute, and come over here to not left justify, but to center, so everything is centered. My dog looks like it could be a wee bit bigger. See how when I click the dog, I got these blue toggles? Don't try to change his size from the side center ones. You'll end up with a distorted, squishy dog that's tall and thin. If you grab the toggles from the top or bottom center toggles and you try to adjust it, you'll end up with a short, stubby dog. That's not what you want either. Any of the diagonals would be better. You can come in and make the dog smaller, but you see how he remained proportionate. Or you can come in and you can stretch him out. And there you go. I don't really like all this squished together this much, so I'm going to come up here, maybe put a return a few times. I'm going to check the bottom of my page. That looks better. Give him a little bit of space. And maybe I come up here to the nonprofit. There, I like that better. A little bit of space for the text and a little bit of space for the dog. Here in the contact us, I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit bigger. I'm going to highlight everything, right? Click and drag. Come up here. I'm just going to go to 12. I don't want it to be huge. I do want it to be centered. So I'm going to come up here to the alignment and come down to centered. And now everything is centered. This contact image, again, don't move from the middle. It'll be all distorted. Don't come in from the center sides. It'll get all squishy and thin. What you want to do is adjust it from the diagonals. I'm just make it a wee bit smaller, right? And I'm going to come up here and make that centered as well. I'm going to come back to this in a minute. I'm going to make this contact bold just because. Over here, we accept generous donations. Let's make this a subheadline. We'll make it bold and we'll bump it up to 18 point. And this text, let's make it a little chunkier. Let's make it 14 point. I'm pretty happy with the dog toy. I'm going to leave it alone, but if you'd like to make it a little bit bigger or smaller, go ahead and click on it and adjust the toggles how you like. What I want to point out in the center panel, a very common thing you sometimes see is the contact info that's down more towards the bottom of the brochure. Of course, you could click and hit return a bunch of times, but a faster and more elegant way to do that would be to highlight everything so it's selected right in the center panel. You're going to come over here to format. You're going to come over here to table, and you're going to slide across to table properties. This will open the table properties box over here on the side of your Google Doc. You want to open the triangle next to alignment, and what you're looking for is cell vertical alignment. Right now it's set to top. We could click it to middle and it would put everything in the middle, but really I want to put it at the bottom. Again, that's a very common thing you see on the back cover of brochures. When you no longer want this window open, you can click on the X to make it go away. And now we can kind of look at our stuff here. Maybe we want to make this bullet list, right? The things that people can donate. We can highlight, click and drag, and come up here to the little bullets and click on it. And there we go. It's looking pretty good. All right. So I've come down here and I have my cursor on my second page. Now we're going to do all the steps all over again for the inside part of our brochure. I'm going to come up here to insert. I'm going to say table. I'm going to slide over here so it's 3 by 1. Kind of makes our container, right, for our content. That's going to be on the inside panels. Once again, we're going to come over here to our Forever Homes text and let's scroll down. The first one talks about adoption. I can click and drag and I can use my hotkey Command C, or I can come to edit and slide down to copy. And I'm going to switch to the document that my brochure is at, and I'm going to click in my first panel and I can do my hotkey Command V or Control V depending if I'm on a Mac or a PC, and there it is, adoption. I also could have gone to edit and come down to paste. It's really useful if you learn those hotkeys because things can go a lot quicker, but it's okay to use it from the drop down menu. So same thing as before, it's time to bring our images in. We can come to insert and we can say image, and I notice that my cursor is on the volunteering, so I'm going to be looking for the volunteer one. Here it is, brochure inside panel for the volunteer. I'm going to click on it to select it and click on open, and there's my lady with the pets. So let's start with adoption. I'm going to click and drag, highlight it all, make it bold, and we had decided that our subheadlines were going to be 18 points, so I'm making that 18 point. Going to do it again with this other subheadline. Click and drag for fostering, aiding with the transition. Click on B to make it bold, and I'm going to click here in the font size and slide down to 18. One more time for the volunteering, making a difference. Click and drag, highlight it all. Click on B for bold to make it bold. Click here on the font size and slide down to 18. So there we go. Notice how that made my picture lady fall onto a third page. That's okay. We're going to fix her sizing in a minute. Let's just finish with the text first. Now we have our adoption text, and we decided that our text was going to be 14 point. So I clicked and dragged to select it and come over here and make it 14 point in size. I just chose those sizes because that's what looks good to me. Feel free to kind of play with it in your brochure. Again, you just want to clearly communicate what's going on. Now, let's go ahead and fix our images. I don't mind the size of this cat, but I kind of want him at the bottom of the page. So I'm just going to come over here to the Forever Home and click my return key a couple times. See how it's scooting the table down lower? That might be good enough. Okay. And then for the fostering, could be a tiny bit smaller maybe. So clicked it so that the toggles appear. Do not, warning, do not come in like this. You'll make it tall and skinny, right? And to come in from the bottom or the top center toggles, then you make them short and stubby. You always want to choose from any of the diagonals so that when you make it big or small, it stays proportionate. Notice how it's left justified. I can come up here to the alignment, center align, and then it'll center my dog on my panel. I like that much better. It looks pretty good, except notice this. Look at how close it is here to the edge of the line. What would you do if you wanted to give that a little bit more space? You click and drag over everything that turns blue, the whole inside panel, right? Now we're going to come to Format, come down to Table, and then slide over to Table Properties. This is a new thing for us. We haven't done it yet. It's cell padding. We already had it open from before, but if it was not open, go ahead and click on the triangle next to Alignment. Come down all the way to the bottom where you see cell padding. The default is 0.069. I'm going to bump it up a few steps and make it go to 0.369. And look carefully at how far away from the border the text is now. I'm going to scoot it down and make it go up and down a few times. Keep your eye on this paragraph, how the text is closer to the line or further away from the line. I like it at 3, but that's an aesthetic choice. You can put it wherever you want. Of course, when you do that, it's going to make your pictures get a little bit strange, so you're going to have to fix it. First, we got to bring our kitty up. I'm just going to click to deselect, and I'm just going to take back some of those returns until my cat is back on my page the way I want him to. And our lady here, our volunteer person, we're going to have to adjust her again. So we're going to grab from the diagonals and just maybe take it in several steps until she's small enough, there she is, to fit at the bottom of her panel. Now we're looking pretty good on the inside panels. The very last step before you print your master to take to church and make a bunch of Xerox so you can fold your brochures is to get rid of these lines. You're going to have to do it for the inside part and for the outside part of your brochure. But since we're here on the inside part already, let's go ahead and do that. Come up to Format. Once again, come over to Table and Table Properties, right? We're going to close the alignment. That was open leftovers from before. You're going to come down to Color and open it. You see the table border, it's 1 point. There's 2 ways to do this. You can either make it be 0 point, which makes it go away, or I could take that back and I could make it white. Either way works, it takes it all away. I went ahead and just made it white. That seems easiest to me. While I have this open, I'm going to come up here and click on my front cover table, and I'm going to change this to also be white, and now it's taken it away. So you can see the front and you can see the back. We can close this. We can save our work and give it a name. We're going to give it Pet Shelter Brochure. It's already been saving it all along, but it's good to have a title. And now when you go to File and Download, you can download it as a PDF and then put it on your thumb drive and take it to church to Xerox. I invite you to practice and make your pretend Pet Shelter brochure. Or if you're feeling brave, go ahead and make a real brochure that you're going to use in your church work. I hope this tutorial was useful to you, and I'll see you again later on Tiny Bites.